Jasmine just flat out came out and said that, yeah, she likes me and she's not really trying to, share me or whatnot. The connection with Jasmine was probably strong. It's up there for sure.
Personally, I'm side-eyeing these boys because I don't think they are there for the right reasons. And it's sad that, yes, their mums might have their own ulterior motives, but at the end of the day, they're coming from a place of love. They're not coming from a place of malice. And so for the boys to focus on what their little manhood wants instead of what their mothers are saying doesn't make sense for me. And I don't get how Chad, a grown man, would go on TV to throw a tantrum and behave like a little kid just because he didn't get his way. I don't like it. I really don't. I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by to go, Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. And definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Somebody's Son, Season 1, Episode 4. Oh my God, side-eye. I am starting with side-eye. Because you have Chad and Katina. Obviously, in the previous episode, Katina sent home Miranda. And for some reason, Chad really liked her. She said she would hide money. She seemed to have a problem with alcohol. What in particular did you like about her? Did you like the fact that he was going to swoop in and be the hero and save her? Is that what he liked? I don't quite get it. So you have him swimming up and down the lengths of the swimming pool while his mom is cooking with the girls. And I'm side-eyeing him. That's a bit awkward. You can't throw a tantrum on TV. That's not right, though. That's not right. I don't get why he felt it was appropriate to do that, or whether he was told you go out and swim while your mom talks to the girls and they make breakfast. Even when they made the breakfast, they didn't call him in to come in for breakfast. And it's like, is he that upset that Miranda went home? How does he expect the other girls to feel? Because they are getting a sense that this guy is not happy with one of us. And chances are it's Lauren who's thinking he doesn't want me around. And this is why he's behaving the way that he's behaving. You could see his mom was really trying to overcompensate. She was trying to speak to the girls, sort of to relate to them, to try and distract them from whatever temper tantrums her son was throwing out. They had conversations, some of them were a bit TMI, but I love the fact that all girls were open to having conversations with his mom, and they were open to sort of getting to know her and understand where she's coming from. They didn't ask inappropriate questions, although one of them was like, how do you feel about your partner using the toilet in your presence with the door open? It's like TMI. Lauren said she didn't mind, but you could tell Paige was thinking, what are we talking about? This is a bit too much. But it was nice to get a feel of how the mother sort of feels or relates to the girls and how the girls relate to the mother. So that was good. I love that. We have James and Bree. They're getting ready for their date because Bree won the date. So she's the one who's getting to go on a date with him. We know she says she's a talker. I loved her outfit. I really loved her outfit. This was really cute. She looked really cute and she had nice, curly hair. She was the first girl to walk in. So according to James, that's when they formed a bond. And so he really seems to like her. They really seemed comfortable. Even the way they were sitting, you wouldn't think they had met on this dating show because of the fact that her legs were in between his and they were chatting. And with reality TV, if you're a talker, they're going to sort of clip it as though you talked for 24/7 when, it's just maybe a couple of hours. So she kept talking, and I love that he was respectful. Even though he was getting exhausted with it, he didn't sort of shut her down. He did bring it up, subtly that, yeah, you are a talker. She previously mentioned that her family had told her that she talks too much. This is why maybe she's not in a relationship. But I love that she was able to ask him the questions that matter. Apparently, they go to the same church, even though they've never met. She was able to ask him about the qualities that he wants in a partner, what he's looking for in a relationship. I loved it. I really loved the conversation. And you could see that this really opened James's eyes to the idea that Bree might actually be a contender in this thing. Because I think he was so stuck on Alicia, he wasn't paying all the other girls attention. So I love the fact that he's had this opportunity to spend time with Bree and get to know her, because she told him everything. I think including even about her doctor, that he was taken aback and he couldn't understand what was going on. So you have Chad and Katina finally sit down for a conversation. And when they sit down for this conversation, they're sort of talking about the women, the fact that, Miranda went home and how does he feel about it. And he's sort of and eyeing, but we all know he said he's upset. He says he likes the idea. It seems Jasmine is his number one. Yes, he did put Lauren in number two and says, oh, he really likes her and Paige as well. And it's like, I think Lauren is just there because of the optics. This is what I'm going to say. I think Lauren is there because of the optics, because had they sent her home, then it would have seemed like they were ageist, and the fact they sort of dumped her because of her age. But technically, I personally feel like Lauren doesn't want to be there. She wants to be there to be on TV for clout, but she doesn't want to be there for the relationship because she's already said he's younger than her. And it seems like with, Chad on his part, his number one is Jasmine, followed by Paige. And then Lauren is just there just to fill the quarter. That's the impression that I get, because he was saying he likes the fact that Paige sort of compliments him and is able to pick up the slack wherever he lets it go. So the idea that you would want her to be sent home, I don't think is a good idea, because he was very thankful when she was saved. He was thankful when Jasmine was saved, but he was sort of and ahhing about Miranda going home. So I don't quite understand that bit. You have James and Shirley sort of having a conversation about, the one-on-one date. How does he feel about the date and how did things go? And he sort of said he had a great time. She really was very inquisitive and it was an eye-opener for him. But then the mom asks him about her talking, because it seems she's got a motor mouth. She never keeps quiet. And he said, no, she's the one who brought it up. I did say that. And his mom acknowledges that he's one of those people. It seems like James is like me. When I want to talk, I want to talk. When I'm not in the mood, I'm not in the mood. So you can't force me to talk when I don't feel like it. It's not that you've offended me, but I just don't feel like talking. So the idea that this is what he's saying he feels like, I get it and I understand it. So I'm happy for him that, he has decided to sort of say this is what he wants in a relationship. This is where he wants to go. And so it's now up to his mother to take on board what he's saying and sort of come up with a plan of where to go next. I'm surprised we still haven't seen Joshua. We're already in episode 4. We last saw him in episode 1. Anyway, so both mums receive the message on the tablet to say they are arranging a photo shoot for Chad and James and with the girls. And so the mums are sort of questioning what is it going to look like. And we all know that Charlize is a bit on the religious side. Apparently she's a sort of semi-pastor is the impression that I got. So she says she wants to see how comfortable he will be around the ladies, but she doesn't want it to be very provocative and over the top. And it's like, oh girl, you're very lucky. All of them are lucky that they didn't get the girl who came with her cheeks out. So hopefully these photo shoots will be more tasteful, and I can't wait to see how they're sort of going to arrange sort of the guys with the girls and see how the pictures look like once they're taken. So we have the photo shoots, and I'm a bit disappointed because I don't think my favorites got a fair shot. I really don't, because first up was Chad, and sadly Paige went first, and we always know it's awkward with the first person, and so there was a lot of awkwardness. Chad is still very moody because Miranda went home, and it's like, I don't get it. What is it about Miranda that so disappointed him that he can't sort of reboot and so give the girls the attention that they need? His mom kept giving him instructions. Paige really tried her best, but he still was moody. And it's like, what is it about Miranda that you like that is taking your focus away from what you're doing at the moment? We didn't see anything about her that really stood out, well, personally, outside of the fact that she was going to hide money and the fact that she loved a drink. I thought he had more in common with Paige. So the idea that he made her feel like an option, I didn't like that. Next up was Lauren, and they did try to go for some sort of passionate poses because all of their photo shoot was outside and it was a bit goofy, and Lauren actually ended up taking charge of it and sort of telling this guy that this is what we should do, this is what we should do, this is what we should do. There was no physical intimacy, there was no kissing or anything, so it was a good photo shoot. It really was. I think Lauren was trying to make sure that whatever picture of hers that they used, she was satisfied with it. Lastly was Jasmine, and you could really really tell that he's keen on Jasmine. He really likes Jasmine. And it's like, what is it? It's giving he's got this savior complex whereby he wants to go all out and save whoever he feels needs to be saved. Because otherwise, I didn't quite get it. I didn't quite understand why he was that upset about this girl going home. Yes, Jasmine said she had been a model, and so she really knew what she was doing. It was really sexy and sort of sensual, and the other girls could really see that. And I felt bad for Paige because she had gone up first, so she had nothing to sort of compare with. She was the one who was there to sort of try and get him into a better mood. So by the time everybody else got in, he was feeling a lot better about himself. That's the impression that I got. James, he had his photo shoot with, well, his first shoot was with Brianna, and so they did this in the kitchen. They did sort of share these sort of kisses whereby she was being asked to hold a strawberry and then he would come in and bite the strawberry. She said they possibly kissed, but she couldn't tell because it didn't seem that passionate. And it's like, these guys, I think the girls that they shot with the first time are the ones that they're really not feeling, which doesn't make sense to me. Because I think Jasmine and Aaliyah should have gone home. That's my opinion. Anyway, his second photo shoot was with Brevon. Brevon was jealous. She really was. She didn't like the strawberry scenes and stuff. They went on the stairs and she really tried her best to sort of get him in the mood. And so for him to say he's getting bestie vibes, it's like, are you friend zoning her or what? Because just because you're friends with someone doesn't mean there's no chance of romantic connection developing. It might actually be better for you to be on this relaxed friendship vibe first before you kickstart things. Because if you just go on the initial spark, if that spark burns out, then there's nothing for the two of you to work on. So I really hope he gives a good shot. Lastly was Alicia. We all know he really likes Alicia. Alicia apparently is a model. She's modeled before. And so their photo shoot was in the living room. There was a lot of eye contact. There was a lot of sensualness. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they did kiss. I think Alicia is there for clout. I think she's there for clout, just like Lauren. I think Lauren at this point has just stayed there for clout. So after the photo shoot, you have Katina go and have a conversation with Chad. And I think this wasn't a good idea. This wasn't a good idea because we initially saw them clash when she said she wanted someone who came from a two-parent household. And he had to stand his ground and tell her that, no, I just want someone who aligns with what I want in a partner. I'm not worried about somebody coming from a two-parent household because I didn't come from a two-parent household. So it's like the hypocrisy. Anyway, so they're talking about the photo shoot and his mom is sort of bringing up the fact that, you know, he had great chemistry with Jasmine. Yes, with Lauren, there was good chemistry as well, but things were very awkward with Paige and she just doesn't seem to understand why. I get her rationale as to why she wanted to pick Paige. And I think if I were in that position, I would have picked Paige as well because it seems when it comes to Jasmine, Chad is thinking with his little Chad. He's not thinking with his head. And sadly, that won't last because once the spark fades, then things are bound to go left. Because at the end of the day, when he was talking to her, they really didn't seem to click. I think if he had met her on a show like Love is Blind, he would never have given a second shot because it seems like she is someone who's a fly by the seat of her pants. She's still giving this, excuse that she's trying to settle down after her time in Europe. So the idea that he thinks she would make a better partner for him doesn't make sense. And it's not like Paige is an ugly girl. She is stunning. So his mom tells him that she thinks his first date should be Paige. And he's saying no, he wants to go Jasmine. And it's like, that's because you have this spark or you have this little excitement or giddiness with Jasmine. That's all you're worried about. I don't think it's because you really have this connection that can lead to something stronger, that can lead to a relationship that will lead to marriage. So I might be wrong, but I don't get it. His argument is, no, I want to go with Jasmine. And I get where his mom is coming from when she says that he is someone who, if he gets his way, then he's not going to be open to anything else. He's on a show to date multiple people. So the idea that he would want to go on a date with someone he's got a fling or he's got a crush on doesn't make sense. It's better for him to go with people that he's still exploring connections with. That way he sees whether he actually really doesn't have anything anything to do with them, or whether he still wants to get to know them. Because his mom is right that once he spends time with Jasmine, he's never going to pay the other girls attention and he's going to shut down. And so for him to still be upset about that didn't make sense. They then go back to the girls and the mom reveals that his first date is going to be with Paige. Paige is excited, but you can see that he's not excited. He's just going through the motions, and it's like, this man is not ready for marriage. I'm sorry, he's not ready for a serious relationship. He is ready for a fling with his next conquest, but I don't think he's ready for a relationship that can lead to marriage. And sadly, that is where Paige is. So maybe she might need to go to a show like Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, or something else, but this man is not it. Because you have them... Well, you have him have a confessional afterwards and sort of say that, well, I had a conversation with Jasmine, because Jasmine wasn't happy that his first date was going to be with, Paige, and she told him that, she didn't want to share. And it's like, girl, if you didn't want to share, then you shouldn't have come on a show where you date someone with 3 other ladies or 2 other ladies. You should have stayed your butt at home and waited for your person to come, because at the end of the day, on this show, he's going to be dating multiple partners. And I think she's realized that she might not get him, and this is why she's decided to mark her territory before he goes on this date, which doesn't make sense to me. That why are you marking your territory on a dating show? And I don't get how the producers allowed them to have that quiet time, because you can see the inappropriateness. You can see her sitting there with her feet in his lap and sort of personal space. There's no personal space. And so with him saying that in his confessional, it makes me question, is he going to sort of say, I want to leave the show because I found my person, or what? And as much as he thinks his mom is wrong, he's going to regret his choice to sort of pay attention to Jasmine, because at the end of the day, Jasmine might not be it. Jasmine is still immature. She's got a lot of growing to do. And if he loses out on Paige, he's going to regret having walked away from her, because I think she'll provide him with more stability than anything else. She'll provide him with more consistency than anything else. She'll provide him with reassurance and security. So the idea that he wants to leave all that just because he's got this initial spark, or he's got this attraction with Jasmine, is something that's still baffling. And I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode now that he's had this little confessional and they've spent this time. And also we get to see Joshua again. I really wish we had sort of time split in between all 3 guys. That way we're not sort of leaving a storyline way back there and we're struggling to sort of catch up with it. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 3. Bye guys.